The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio on the air. Champions Week. We're going to have a champion on this week, and we are excited to be talking to the Mission Foods Top Fuel World Champion for the fourth time in his career, Antron Brown. So if you're a fan of NHRA Drag Racing, if you're a fan of motorsport, NASCAR, Formula One, whatever it is, you're going to get to hear the inside story of the race that was to win the championship at the In-N-Out Burger Finals at Pomona. Remember the drama. They're on the starting line. Antron Brown, Justin Ashley, they just raced first round in Dallas. Whoever loses the championship. It's a winner-take-all situation. Maybe not for Justin. He could have still hung on to one, but just go with it. Just go with it, baby. A plane crashes at the track, and everybody has to go back to the pits and think about it for another 2 hours. What was that like? We are going to find out on this show. So fans of drag racing, everybody that loves WFO, WFO Universe, share the show. If you're on X, if you're on YouTube, wherever you are, get your comments in the comments section. AB coming up real quick. I want to thank the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like FTI and Total Seal, CWT Industries, Bernie's Speed Shop, Foggett, Jesse Converters, Marvin Rodak, everybody who supports us behind the scenes. We got big Project Pontiac news. The dyno test is this week. That's right. We're going to be dyno testing. We'll be out there running Super Street next year sometimes. But right now, let's get to the man of the hour, the guy who got it done. He won 3 races in the 24 NHRA countdown. He joins us now, Antron Brown. AB, 4-time. Congratulations.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, man. Hey, we're just back at it, brother. Just back here in Indy, back in the shop, and we're just getting ready, man, for 2025. Like, we got Thanksgiving coming up. We got to have a lot to be thankful for, and Christmas is around the corner. So, man, it still doesn't feel real, man. It feels pretty awesome to have this white hat on top of your head because they're hard to come by and hard to get, and we've been close there the last several years, numerous times. And just to finally just put it all together and to get it done, man, it's something very, very special.
All right. We have spoken after each one of your championships, and, you know, people want to rank them. You've got children. You can't rank your children. You love them all for different reasons. But this one, from my outsider perspective, has to be a little more special because you're not an employee who was hired to race. You went out and took this leap of faith, and many said nobody's saying it now, but many said you couldn't do it. Like it was the dangerous move. And now forever, AB Motorsports is one of the Top Fuel World Championship teams long beyond you. When we're looking back at the annals and the history of drag racing, all of that investment paid off in the highest, most possible way.
It did. And think about it, it's one of those dreams to come reality. And Joe, we talk about it all the time. Like, you always set out goals for yourself, where you want to be at, where you want to go at. And man, I've been racing pro stock bike. You followed my career there. We raced for the U.S. Army, one of the biggest organizations, period, in the world. And then I went to Top Fuel with David Powers, raced with him, then raced for Mike Ashley, then raced for Schumacher for all these years where, man, we won 3 championships. We won a lot of races. He gave us all the necessary tools to make it happen. And then we're there. And I remember sitting there talking to all of our guys on our team, like, starting with Brian Karate, Mark Oswald, and then having those conversations. And I remember distinctly sitting here in the shop over and over again with Brad Macy, and just telling Brad, like, man, one day we're going to make this happen, brother. One day we're going to do it together. All of us going to do it together. And we're going to try to make this team an unstoppable force and bring old school back. And what I mean by old school is that we live, eat, and sleep racing. Like everybody on this team, that's what we do. Like we go to racetrack, we race. We wake up in the morning, we think about racing. We eat lunch, we're thinking about racing. Every aspect that we think about is racing, how we can be better. And once you put a whole bunch of people around with that same mindset and that everybody's all in it together, these types of things happen. And I'm just so fortunate and blessed to be in this situation to do this, man. And all of our partners, they believed in us to go out. You know what I mean? Because I don't have those deep pockets. You know what I mean? I don't own another business or another company that is the background, support system. This is all I do. I live, eat, sleep, NHRA Mission Foods drag racing, just drag racing, period. And the support that we get from all of our partners to make this happen, man, it's one of those deals where they have to believe in you and your team. And we have that. And then we're able to bring that championship home the third year. And the first year, we almost did the first year finishing second. But that was the same thing. We lost to Brittany Force in Vegas, and she was able to catapult and win that championship like that. So this year, it was just our turn. And we gave it all we have, and our all this year was good enough for sure.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you and the team. And I'm, honored to call many of them who took the leap of faith with you, friends. And I hope that, you are making it and showing others that, it can be done. Let's talk a little bit about some of the key moments. But first, I want to acknowledge all our fans and friends out there, just wishing you congratulations and saying hello. And Blake is out there. He is diehard WFO. He was out there in Vegas, I believe. And just so many people wishing you congratulations. This was a very popular win. You are, and have been one of our great ambassadors, transcending just the drag racing community, media friendly. You'll go anywhere. You'll talk to anybody, and you know how to tell the story for NHRA Drag Racing. So I'm pretty excited. Like Eddie, from Garafolos, right? Our great friend Eddie. He is out there. Congratulations on your championship. Well-deserved, hard fought. I'm very excited about what lies ahead for you, right? Like you earned the opportunity to work a whole lot next year for the sport of NHRA drag racing.
Yeah. We're gonna chip in on that, And we always do a lot for our sport already. We go everywhere, man. But to represent our whole sport, it's a pleasure, brother. I have a passion for this sport like no other. I have love, I have dedication, and it's treated me well. It gives us a platform. It gives us a place to come out and do what we love and to share our life and our love with all of our fans out there. The fans, they're what's really keep the sport going. All the access in NHRA. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here where I'm at, because I was that kid that got to go up to the ropes and see Big Daddy Darn Girl. It's the Mark Oswalds, the Big Daddies, and Kenny Bernsteins and Joe Amatos and Dave Schultz, John Myers, all those type of people, like Bob Glidden. You go up there and see all of them. Warren Johnson, you're able to go up and see these people up close and personal. Every ticket's a pit pass. And for that gave this little kid from Chesterfield, New Jersey, just that ray of hope one day just to go out there and do it. You know what I mean? And I never forget, man, I was at a race. I used to see John Force all the time. Was always the first one up, first one there at the track, had his driver's suit on. He was the last one to take his driver's suit off. He didn't take it off until he left at the end of the day. And he used to sit there and talk to everybody to the end of the day, even when he lost early. And that's what made him one of my heroes also. Like, besides him winning everything, it was just the way he took time and spend time with people. And that's somebody who I always emulated off of. So that's what makes this sport so special to me, and why I look forward to trying to carry the torch and help us get into new realms and different places.
Yeah, he's a giant among men, what John has been able to do. But you'll carry it, and you'll have some help carrying it. It's going to be great to see. But how about John being back at the track? Before I ask you specifics about the finals, just seeing him in Vegas, having him back, like it felt like a new normal. John on the starting line, John Force being loved by the fans, but it kind of makes this year, I don't know, seeing John back brought a calm to me. I felt like, all right, it's okay, and I can enjoy this year.
Yeah, John being back, it's been when I saw him come back to the race, it was like a sigh of relief for all of us. It was pretty awesome. We looked at him. He was back in Vegas, still with his big old smiling and energetic, and his energy around him. You know what I mean? And but one thing you can see, John is a racer. And I saw it from standing back there when he was watching them cars go down the racetrack, Joe. Nobody won't tell you, but I saw it in his eyes, brother. I saw it in his eyes, man. It's like you saw him where he wanted to be in that car, brother. And I mean, I'm the same way. I'm not a good fan, but he was happy to be out there. And every time the car leaves the starting line, you could see his head jerk a little bit, like it's like, yeah, like he thought he was in there. You know what I mean? When he's watching Jack and Austin from behind and his daughter Brittany, and to come back to his first race and have both his cars in the winner's circle, and then when you see him coming down the return road, fans standing up giving him a standing ovation, man. We were all up there clapping. He brought a lot of tears to everybody's eyes, man. It was very, very special.
I noticed it too. My eyes were on John, and it's just the way it is, right? Like you think, what's he thinking? What's he thinking right now? Is he okay with this? There's nobody who wants to be in the car more than this guy, because he's told us hundreds and hundreds of times, I don't know what I'll do. I don't think I'll be good at that. And like not right behind the car, laying way back. Like he didn't want to get too close to something that he knew he wanted to be in. But time will tell. Time will tell. We'll see what happens with John. But again, we get to have him there. All right. I teased you being on because I want to know about this. Let's get all WFO on it. We made a big deal about the round one matchup between you and Justin in Dallas because I really believed at that moment that the championship was going to turn on that moment. It turns out that, like, I guess it did or it didn't. It was just one of the stories leading up to the next matchup, right? Like Rocky and Apollo, right? Like you can't have Rocky 2 without Rocky 1. And you guys got to run each other first round. You're in the water box. Loser, if it's you, it's over. No championship for Antron. If it's Justin, the likelihood goes way up that he is the champion. So everybody had all the skin in the game you could possibly want. We're getting ready to fire the cars. My version of the story is that Jason Logan from the Low Zone just gets on my radio and he goes, I just saw a plane crash. And I'm like, what? And he's like, a plane just lost power and went down behind the grandstand. I watched it. And I'm like, on our side or the other side? And he's like, on our side. And then nothing happened. And then there's sirens. And everybody knows it from there. Can you give me your version of the story? Like, you're ready to light cars.
Oh, man.
What happened?
Man, we were locked in, man. And like literally the cars just went down the track. And I'm just waiting to get the signal from the starting line guy to Mark Oswald. He gets a signal. He nods his head at me. I flick the switches up, and then I'll just wait for Brad to spin over, and then I'll pull the fuel pumps on wide open and start the car to give it fuel. So I'm just waiting. I'm literally waiting. Like I'm in the zone. I then took my deep breaths. The nerves are still where everything starts getting really quiet and everything gets really, really calm. And that signal never came. So I'm like, all right, what's going on? And then I heard him say an announcement that, I heard Alan Reinhart come across and make an announcement at the racetrack and say, hold on, everybody just wait a minute. And then he made an announcement of a plane crash. Then he told us that we can get out of our cars because we saw Safety Safari run off really fast, really hard. Then I got out the car, took my helmet off. I'm like, man, if we were like first or second pair, we already went down the racetrack. You know what I mean? And then it came across, say it's going to be a little while. that we might not race today, or we can race today. It all depends. And then they're going to do their due diligence to make it happen and for us to go to our pit. Then we went to our pit. I went in the trailer, and I'm telling you, man, like the nerves can get to everybody, see everybody on the team. But then, the crew chiefs went back to work. Guys went back to work, put our cars up on the stand. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to go out. I'm just going to stay inside the trailer. And that's one thing I never do is just stay inside the trailer. And I said, I just gotta go here and just put my head down because my emotions got worked all up to go to war. Like you're ready to go in this fight. Like you're about to go into this boxing match and you're ready to fight your competitor and you got all the levels in, you're ready to go. And then all of a sudden they say, hold up, we're going to hold up for an hour. So now you don't want the anxiety to set in. You don't want your emotions to come in. You don't want you to start overthinking things. So you know what I said I'm going to do? I said, I'm going to go lay down on the couch. I lay down on the couch. I took my hat, put it over my eyes, laid back, and I started just trying to relax, close my eyes, take my mind off of the race, take myself out of the moment. And I literally just relaxed and just sat back, and I perfectly just chillaxed, man. I literally, at the racetrack that I never do, I found a way just to relax and to get back in my comfort zone. And once I did that, like I felt at ease. And I don't know what it was. Like I'm always calm, but I had this ultra calmness that came across me. And I'm just going to go do what I do. And it was weird. It's like I found out how to get back to a realm that I always used to race at. Like before doing AB Motorsports, having my mind on the business side, having my mind on all my people, having my mind on sponsorships and everything else. I think I found another way to turn all that off and go back the way I used to race, Joe, where like I just got into the moment of racing and I left everything out to the side. And then right then and there, I've been 50s and low 60s all this year on the tree. And then for whatever reason, I found a realm to go back to where I can cut high 30s and low 40s on the tree. And that's what I showcased. I got back to the zone that I always used to be in. And I think I figured something out for next year that I want to start doing to put myself back in that realm. And it paid dividends. And when they called us back up at 1:00, I was just in this zone where everything was just silent, cool, calm, collective. Like nothing can rattle me. Nothing can get to me. Nothing ever usually gets to me anyway on the racetrack or nothing like that. I always can think and know where I'm at, know what to do. But I mean, I literally was just in this zone of blankness where I just did it. And it showed. I was 0.43 on the tree to Justin's 0.45. The next round against Langdon, I was 40 flat to his 49. And then against Brittany, I had the sun in my eyes on that side of the racetrack. In my eyes, and I was still 50. And then in the final against Doug, when the sun went down, I was 0.38. And I was like, oh, this is AB of old. And my crew guys gave me the Brian Karate, Mark Oswald, Brad gave me the car to get the job done, man. You got to have to win a race now and then win a championship. You have to be hitting on all 8 cylinders. You can't have one dropped hole. If you do, you're going home.
Wow. Just amazing to hear you recount that. And did a plane crash on the track? Like, we don't know. In those moments, it's easy to go back and look. And most importantly, I want to say, thank goodness nobody lost their life that day. That was the most important thing. We all experienced the wonder, would we even race, let alone get to the final? But I do wonder, and this is the space-time continuum, right? Like the divide. What is the result if the plane crash doesn't happen? Cars were set up differently. The temperature was different. The track temperature, right? Like that's
the track was cooler. You know what I mean? This is what a lot of people don't realize. Okay. What you got to realize is this too, is that everything happens for a reason. And this is the thing. You got to be a smart racer. Okay. When you look at the SCAG team, Mike Green and Tommy DeLago are some of the sharpest that's ever did it. They are very, very smart racers, okay? They can race with anybody. They know when to throw down low ET. They know what ET they can run. And when we're racing on the track that we're racing on, that track was tricky. This is what people don't understand. When the track gets that tight, you're on a really thin bladed sword. You could go one way or the other. Like, did you see all the cars that could run mid-60s, like 65, 66, 64, right?
Yes.
If they hit a 64 run, they have to tee it up where they got to get it all so they can get the wheel speed up and go, right? If not, the car's dead slow and then it tries to make it up and it shakes the tire. Or if it's dead fast, the car will hook up so hard, it jumps the car up off the ground and then it gives it an initial spin. Not because they blew the tires off. It's literally because the track's so tight, it jumps the car off the ground and starts getting the tires spinning. Okay? So that's what you saw happen with me and Sean Langdon, because we had our stuff tuned up to try to run a mid-60 because we know he could run a mid-60, right? Well, he knew that he wasn't going to run a 68 to try to beat us. He was going to try to run a 65 or 66 because he knows that's what we're going to try to do, because he won a 68 the round before and I won a 69. Okay? So we were trying to get a little bit more there because me and him could be split on a tree. I could be 40, he could be 50. I could be 50 or he could be 40. So our crew chiefs in their mind are thinking, all right, well, we gotta get some extra. So he jumped off the ground and blew the tires on the starting line, and we shook later because we were trying to get after it. And then the thing about with Justin Ashley that I want to go back to with Mike Green, they're like, well, shoot, you can look at the stats in qualifying. I was mid-50s on the tree. I was like 55, 54. Well, Justin's like 40 flat, 42, 43, 45. He's always from that 40 flat to a 45 range. Well, they've got 100th on the tree. So Mike and them probably went up there and go, we're going to go up here to try to run like a 69 because the track got hotter. The sun came out, right? And the car might have went through the clutch. I don't know what happened on the run, but their car ended up going a 70 flat. It wasn't a bad run, but it probably wasn't a run they were trying to run. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what these cars do to you. And for us, we're going up there. We're trying to run a 68, 69. We said if we could do that, and if we could leave with them on a tree and be close, it'll be just a really tight race. It can go any way. If somebody has a hiccup, the other person's going to win. And that's when we went up there. When you have somebody like Justin Ashley in your car, you do not have to run 65. Because when you run 65, it'll run 65, and the next lap, it'll jump off the racetrack and blow the tires away. You follow what I'm saying? Like Doug Coletta, he didn't run 65 every lap. That jerk came out the box first lap. I forget what he went, 68.8 or 69 first lap. The second lap, he went out there. He went 64 flat. But then the lap after that, they came out there and they ran 68.8. You get what I'm saying? And in the final, they weren't trying to run a 71. Something happened to their car. They were trying to run a 60, something like a mid-60 again. But it didn't work out that way. Something didn't work out. You know what I mean? They didn't drop a hole, but the car didn't make the power it needed to make, or an electrical problem. But they were not trying to run a 71. Okay, they were probably trying to run like a 65 to a 67, and that's what we're trying to run. And we were in a 68. You know what I mean? So, and we were 030 on the tree to was 050. So when you look at all that stuff, Joe, I'm looking at it, and it killed me because I watched the show. Did you watch the show on TV, Joe?
Not yet.
Well, I watched the show on TV, and the part that hurt the most was that me and you could insight everything that goes on. I heard you and Alan on the NHRA TV, but when I heard Tony Pedregon on TV, brother, he had no faith in us, man. He just kept on saying, well, we don't run like the other cars. We don't run like the other cars. You know what I mean? We don't run 64. We don't run 65. But we didn't that weekend, but we were trying. But we were running all the numbers right within 100th or 200th of every car that we were racing between elimination round, except for Doug Coletta when he ran that 64 flat, and Clay Milliken ran at 65 in E1. Those are only two anomalies on race day. But besides that, our ETs were within 100th of every other car that raced on race day throughout the rest of the week. I mean, on race day. So I was just like, was he looking like we were racing? Like everybody was racing, and you got to work to be better. And that's one thing that we will work on to be better next year, is that we can consistently run in low 60s, because we can run every other number on the board when it gets hot, when it gets mediocre and everything else. And we can run when it gets good. But the thing about it is that Alan Johnson's cars and, Torrance's cars run really good in qualifying. And that's one thing that we want to work on is to step up and be able to run 62, 63, or 64. And that's one thing that we're going to work on hard for next year.
I love that you're a little ornery about it. I think that's great. Like, hey, man, hey.
I just was listening to him, and I'm like, how do you leave us out the equation? Like, at the end of the day, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? And it's commentating, but when you look close to the cuff, it takes everything. And we have a great team, and it doesn't really make a difference. You saw in Top Fuel where you qualify this year is how you race on race day, and we've got that down. I give our team, they did a really great job this year. And I said it when you came in a countdown, every countdown that has been won, if you win 3 races in the countdown, that sets the tone. If you win 3 races, pretty much you don't win the championship. And we're trying to get that done earlier than later. You know what I mean? We were really hoping that when we came to St. Louis that we could show out there, and it didn't go our way. And then all we needed at some of these other races is like Dallas is to win the first round against Justin. Or if we did that and went to the semifinals, like Justin went right to the final at that race and won that race. But everybody he raced between those rounds, all we had to do is run that ET that we ran that first round through the whole day, and we could have been the winners of that race. That just shows you how tight this racing is. You know what I mean? And it just set up for a great story. You just got to be at the right spot at the right time and put out the right ET.
Win, second round, first round, second round, win. And that's the championship. But you lost to Tony Schumacher, you lost to Justin, and you lost to Doug Coletta, right? Like everybody's in the mix. And that's what Top Fuel is right now. That's why we love it. It's so tight. All right, since we're talking NHRA on Fox, let's watch the final round together. Let's watch Brian and Tony, see what they say in the final round as seen on NHRA on Fox.
They both tear down the drag strip, and Antron Brown makes a run for it. 368.1, 330 miles an hour. They capitalize on their championship with a race win, a 371 for Doug. And Mark Oswald retires not only a champion, but a finals winner.
Antron, I see you looking at Doug Coletta. I'll release you in just 1 second, sir, but a championship and a race win. But next season, you will start it without Mark Oswald. How much of an impact has he been to you?
He's a huge impact, and to go out like this for Mark, he's definitely a follower of God, always kept me accountable, kept me straight. But what a man. He has such a career, a true champion, and he's what made us all champions. How to stay cool, calm, collective. If you saw me all day, Amanda, I brought the Iceman back, and I was just cool, calm, steady. And I told Mark one day, I said, man, he goes, AB, they call me an Iceman. You know why? You got to stay chill. I said, well, what's more dangerous than you being an Iceman? I said, I'm black ice, baby. You don't see me coming. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, all right. We got the real Antron right here. Is that it? Black ice? I think
black ice, baby. Black ice, man, the most dangerous form of ice. You never see it coming, and before you know it, it's too late.
It's true. Oh man,
I love messing with people too much. You gotta have fun, man. You gotta have fun with it.
All right. So wow, that was amazing to experience that. I want to double back on something though, because you mentioned Mike Ashley and Brian Karate and all these guys that had such a great connection to you. Like you ended Mike Ashley has done so much and you guys ended their season. Was there a little extra like, man, we got to win this because of that. We got to win this because of that.
Oh my God.
It's almost like one extra team. It's almost like you're like,
Joe,
like the spawn of that team and now you got to do it and you did it. So explore that.
Joe, let me tell you something, man. I'm besides racing against Justin Ashley, I'm a true fan of Justin Ashley. That's my little brother, man. And like you said, this is really like the Apollo and Rocky. You know what I mean? Like I build him up, and the kid's was gonna be great no matter who who worked with him and stuff like that. But I had to iron to work with him, and it was nothing I had to work on. Basically, it was just me just helping him just be comfortable with who he is and being comfortable in what he does. You get what I mean? And he has a natural ability. He's got a great personality, and he is a superstar in his sport already, period. You know what I mean? And I told him, I said, people are going to be all around you. That's how he got the SCAG deal. The way he treats people, the way he caters to people. He spends time with them. He's just a genuine, good guy, man, period. And he works his tail off. and that's why he gets what he gets. And when I raced him that morning, like, we pray for safety and different stuff like that. And I literally said, Lord, I said, this is Justin's day. You know what I mean? Just let it be. And just kept us all safe. And then when we beat him, I'm like, oh, Lord, have mercy. I said, well, I cannot lose to Sean Langdon. I cannot lose to Sean Langdon because, like, I got to win this. I got to win this. Like, and then after that, I gotta go one more round because I can't let Coletto win this. You get what I mean? Because the thing about it is that, Sean, Doug, they had their championships, but I've been cheering Justin on for a long time, and I'm close friends with Sean. Me and Sean are tight, right? We're like, we raced bracket racing with my son and him racing bracket racing and stuff like that. And then, and I just knew whoever was going to win this championship was going to be the one that deserved it, plain and simple. But if I was cheering for somebody, I was cheering for Justin to see him get his first championship because they fell short the last few years, and they've been there. They had 1 year where they dominated the whole season, and their car just didn't go right in the countdown. You know what I mean? We've been there. I've been there. I've done it. And what we're doing is what everybody doesn't realize is by them falling short a little bit each year, we're creating a monster that's going to be uncontrollable because once it happens, it ain't going to stop happening. That boy's going to be a multi-time champion year in over year in. And he's just steady and he's ready all the time. So once we got past that round at the championship, and I'll never forget, Mike looked at me, Ashley goes, you better win this darn championship because and I was like, oh my God, like all the pressure. But the thing about it is we stayed true. We didn't lift. We didn't let up. And I'm telling you that nobody wants a championship that's given to them. So the thing about it is we all know that we have to work hard, and it's hard to win a championship because our championship is not a marathon. It's a sprint. We have a 6-race sprint to win a championship, and you can mess up a little bit here and there, but it's like 3 strikes and you're out. You mess up 3 races, you're done. You mess up 2 races, you're pretty much done. And we messed up 2 races this year, and then we capitalized on 3 of them, which that's what you have to do to get it done. You got to win 3 races in the countdown to know that you have a shot to do it, and you have to do decent at the other 3 to make it happen. So we're able to do that, and we did it at the right ones.
Yeah. I know we're kind of going deeper on that, but I kept thinking about that just because I know how tight you guys are. All right, let's look forward, right? Like the championship, the everything that you did, but there's a lot else going on. I spoke with Brian Karate. I don't know where it was, but he tried to put me to work on a pro mod car. He's like, are you going to Bradenton? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, we're going to run the pro mod cars. You should come over. I'll give you something to do. He said it just like that. So what's going on? What's the, the winter break plan? I know you got the Pro Superstar Shootout that's going to be promoted again. Are you going to be involved? I think so. I think I've already seen.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely going to bet the Pro Shootout, brother.
You drive a pro mod car? Like, give us your schedule.
Yes. So this offseason is going to be kind of busy. And me and Brian Karate, Brad, and myself, we're all, man, we're diving in deep. And you're going to see some really, really cool stuff. It's going to be an announcement coming back out where Brian's bringing back the old Gotham City theme. So you wait till you see his pro mod car. I'm gonna give you a little tidbit on your show, Joe, so people can check that out. And Zach Zachman's going to be the driver of his car. He's a acclaimed sportsman racer, won numerous races and top dragster. He drives top sportsman car for Jeff Pittman.
Yep.
The kid is just naturally gifted and talented. You know what I mean? He can drive anything, and he's really cool. And he's a heads up racer. You know what I mean? You're going to see him in one of the classes one day. Hopefully we can get this thing to grow where maybe he can race pro mod throughout the whole NHRA season too, if we can pick up a good deal for him or sponsorship. So we're just trying to grow more athletes here at, on the AB side, on the AB Accelerate side to do different things. And he's one of them that's really, really talented. So you're going to see him out there in Brian's car. I'm going to sneak down there. I'm formed, I always had alliance with Manny Bajinga with Bajinga Racing, and I'm looking really, really forward to it. We're coming down there with the all-red Lexus, and we got Petty's going to be behind tuning the race car, so I'm looking forward to that. But we got some testing we got to get underway. We got a lot of stuff. The car is down at Modern right now getting finished up, and it's it's a lot going on right now, a lot going on. So we got a lot of stuff to get done and to get down there and get tested. Right after Thanksgiving, we'll be down there hopefully on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday before the race testing. So we're looking forward to that, man. So there's a lot going on, and we're going to race all 3 races in the Drag Illustrated Series put on by Wes Buck. So we'll be there for, the Snowbirds, the U.S. Street Nationals, and the World Series of Pro Mod, man. So I got a chance to do that in the Pro 275, but it's going to feel really good to get into that Pro Mod with the big tires on it, man, with the slicks. So I'm pretty stoked and excited about that.
Wow, that's awesome. No, super exciting. Love the state of Florida where we can just drive a couple of hours and see Pro Mod cars like week after week after week at Bradenton Motorsports Park. What about Angel? Team owner Antron, AB Accelerate. Angel, look back, like how it started, how it finished. She traveled light years in my estimation, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Man, I tell you what, she has grown so fast on the A fuel side, and she's just doing a great job. She's a true professional, brother. She works hard. She digs in, and the crazy part for me is when I'm at the racetrack, like to see how she comes back and forth. She goes to her pit, she works on her car, and then when they're done for the day, she comes and hops in our pit on our Top Fuel car. She packs, shoots, she puts the fuel in the car. She knows how to mix nitro. She's all in. She's in every department on the race team, learning what those guys do and how they do it. And then you'll see her just sitting at the racetrack, and she could be over in one quarter, the other quarter, and I'm at the front ropes, and you hear the fans screaming her name, Angel, can I get your autograph? And just the fan presence, and for her to be there, and the following she has is that she's always been a superstar, but to cultivate her and to get her to the top level of sport. I never forget Shirley Modowney coming over to our pit and saying that she, like, Angel should have been in the fuel car a long time ago. When you have people like Shirley and people like Kenny Bernstein back in the pits, and people noticing that and seeing that, and the way she's driving that A fuel car, how the awareness that she has and that she's learning. And the good part about her is that when she makes a mistake, she capitalizes on it and she gets better the next time, where she doesn't make the same mistake twice. And she's very eager to learn, very eager to listen. She observes a lot of things. She asks a lot of the right questions. She's always asking questions about everything. And she's like precision. It's kind of, she reminds me of, I've talked to, Tony Stewart, Smoke, when he came into sport, how he asked all the questions and the right questions to do what he does. Like, he's a student of the game, and that's what makes him so great no matter what he races. And Angel has that same personality, that same mindset like that. You know what I mean? Where she learns without watching. She learns just by just watching and observing, and she's very eager to do well, and she wants to win. And when you see when she first came in, she might have been 80s and 70s on the tree. Well, now she's like 30s to 50s on a tree every time she steps in the car. And when you see that going on, that's something really special. And the MBR boys, the Mahalik Brothers Racing Team, with Kyle and Corey's another driver under AB Accelerate program that we're trying to cultivate and bring up, and the team itself. And this year, we're making an investment to bring more equipment, maybe some better equipment and race parts into it. They always had good race parts and good equipment, but we're going to upgrade the race car and give them like a Top Fuel style chassis to race this year in A fuel and step the equipment up and see what we got. Our main focus is to run for a championship, and also to cultivate where we can run some Top Fuel races too. And all this is paving the way for like, my kids. Anson, this is what he wants to do. So while he's still in college, he's in his second year in college, doing well. And I'm so proud of that young man to see how much he has grown to where he's at right now, and to help him along the way. And this next year, Ariana Mador is going to start racing in some bracket racing and some super comp racing to see if this is what she wants to do. She shows a lot of interest, and she's got a really good mindset, and she's super competitive like Anson is. Like, all my kids are super competitive no matter what they do. They don't like losing. So I don't know where they got that from. But
yeah, wonder.
But
where's that come from?
I'm just excited. There's so much stuff in the works with Grace Rowe, also that's underneath our AB Accelerate program. She's a bracket racer out of Ohio. She races well. She does really good on social media and stuff like that. And then And also Cash and Macy from the Brooks family, Brooks Motorsports out there in California. They race quarter midgets. They've been crushing it, man. They've been traveling the country racing all the little quarter midget stuff and everything else like that. And I went out to a couple of their races and watched them race. And, man, they're like beginners, and they're crushing it like they're true professionals, winning races, winning different races. Came out to Indy, did well out here to the big quarter midget nationals that came from all the way from California out here. So it's just awesome just to be a part of things like that and be a part of stuff and watch all these different drivers and different teams grow and help them with the right tools to be successful. And it's a good place in my heart because I didn't have a place to go to get any help like that. It's the kind of things that we've learned on our own, and I put myself around the right people, and now we're able to share these resources to help all these other teams be who they want to be and go where they want to go.
Leaving a legacy beyond trophies and beyond race wins for the sport. I think it is tremendous. Antron, any final thought to the WFO universe as we get ready for PRI, as we get ready for the winter break, Thanksgiving, all of the holidays, chance at being with family? The floor is yours. Message to the WFO universe.
Well, I'm going to leave all of our WFO family out there and all the people that listen is that can't thank each and every one of you enough for always being a part of all the drag racing family. You guys and girls out there is what makes us who we are. You make WFO what it is. And just keep staying tuned because there's going to be some more information down the pipe, and never settle. Always keep that gas pedal down. And when you hit a pothole, it's only momentary. Just keep your head down and keep going forward. And one day when you slow down, you look back and you pop those parachutes and you look back on a journey that you took in life, you're going to see something that you've done something very, very special. Enjoy it. Enjoy all the moments because I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy each and every one of you that come up to our pit and spend time with us and spend your hard-earned dollars to come enjoy yourself, and we put on a show for you. And hopefully we could keep on putting you in the winner's circle because I know I'm going to keep trying and keep doing what we do. We love you. God bless you all. And you all have a happy Thanksgiving, a merry and blessed Christmas. Don't forget what the reason for the season is, and have a great New Year's.
Thank you, Antron. Congratulations on championship number 4. You are a true professional. Thank you for spending time with us here on WFO Radio. Enjoy your holiday as well. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joe.
There he goes. Antron Brown with us here on WFO Radio. How about that, baby? Antron letting you behind the visor for what I think to be maybe one of the most critical moments in drag racing history, as he and Justin are on the starting line getting ready for the race that could decide the championship. We have a plane crash. It's crazy. Chaos ensues. Not really. The professionals, they handled it so well. They handled it so well, like everybody handled it so well. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about it, like what's going on. And just everybody that's a pro did what they do and that's why they are a pro. And we got lucky, and we had just so many good things that happened in the wake of that. Lucky things, positive things, and nobody got hurt. And Antron just really giving us the inside scoop on all that went on in the In-N-Out Burger finals at Pomona. All right, guys, final comments in the comments section. I want to hear what you have to say about what Antron just threw down there, the nickname Black Ice. I love it. I love it. I know that's the kind of thing that probably won't catch on, but I love it. I think it is great. We're going to get to those comments. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Project Pontiac. Me and Alan Reinhart will be on tomorrow. Alan Reinhart and I will be on tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time, Tuesday. You can always check that out. We'll be back after this.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
There you go. Thank you very much, Brian Loans. All right, what do you guys got to say? I got to lower the volume on that. They're a little behind the scenes right there. I got to lower the volume. It's very loud. Black Ice begs for a t-shirt. Yeah, it really kind of does. It really kind of does. Fantastic interview with Antron Brown. Always love hearing from him. LaToya, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Getting closing thoughts on AB. You are a true champion. Now, thanks, Antron, for including the WFO universe. I mean, I know I served it up for you, but I didn't know what direction you were going to go with that. And for everybody out there, you know, I'm thankful for you guys. I get together, I do these interviews. I've been doing this show really for, 25 years, going back to Miami, interviewing drag racers and racers in general, but NHRA specific pretty much since 2009, 2010, the first years of WFO radio. And we had 30 listeners, audio only podcast. We still podcast Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. For you, those of you who want to hear the audio only, if you are an audio only listener, old school audio only listener, thank you for taking us on the road. But also, hey, sorry for some, a lot of visuals now, all of a sudden, as we are doing the YouTube live stream and we're growing the YouTube channel. We've really focused on that this year. We've got our numbers up there, like, hundreds of percent, and we continue to grow that on YouTube and put out the clips. And for everybody who shares it, honestly, like, we are literally, except I'm not a mom and a pop, but we are the mom and pop store. We are the small business, the American entrepreneurial dream. No big corporate entity behind us, just like a one person who decided to make a go of this with some wonderful people helping him out, and people like Antron who are willing to share and repost and push it out there and give us a comment, wear a t-shirt every once in a while. Thank you all for doing that. This is how I make my living. I mean, I could be doing something else, I'm sure, but would I be loving it as much? Maybe not. I love drag racing. I love our sport. I worked in NASCAR. I've worked in and around IndyCar. I know what motorsport is. I've worked in and around the NFL and Major League Baseball here in South Florida on our Sports Radio 560 QAM. I know that I like those things, but I'm not as passionate about them as I am about motorsports, and specifically NHRA Drag Racing, both the Mission Foods series and the Lucas Oil series. So much so that we are working very hard on our own on-track racing project for 2025 and beyond, and it is called Project Pontiac. It is the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am that my dad and my mother and myself went to JM Pontiac in Hollywood, Florida in 1978, bought brand new, something like $7,000 for a brand new 78 Trans Am, white with red, velour interior. That's the car that drove me to kindergarten. It's also the car that was my first bracket car that I won a Super Pro Track Championship with. And now we're getting much closer to the resurrection of this on-track project. And so I would encourage you and invite you to like our YouTube channel, WFO Radio TV, or any of our social feeds, and follow along, because thanks to a whole host of partners and sponsors and people who just want to see us back on the track, Gary Stennett, Foggett, Steve Williams, Edelbrock, Straub Technologies, endless people supporting the project. John Gadosh and Charlie Kababi, Pontiac expert here in South Florida, just endless. And I'm going to, write them all down at some point. But this Saturday, we're going to dyno this engine. The Edelbrock heads, Wilson manifolds, like our Wilson manifold, our Stennett carburetor, like all of the effort that went into what was originally just going to be an engine refresh. Those of you who have followed the podcast for a long time, you know that the whole original idea was to put some new total seal piston rings in it, hone it, and send it. and go run Super Street. That was the plan. But the engine block was cracked. It had micro cracks all throughout the main webbing, and it caused us as in, me and my father, who is now passed away, unfortunately, but I'm doing this in his memory. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to get just another Pontiac block and put all the same parts and pieces together? Or are we going to try to do something a little different? So we did something different. And this Saturday, we're going to dyno the deal. Now, we are going to shoot video of the dyno test. Whatever the number is. I'm super excited. Still a lot of work, but the plan is to try to be at Speed World Dragway in Orlando, Florida for the first NHRA Southeastern Division race, and to shine some spotlight on 1090 Index Racing, and to shine some spotlight on Lucas Oil Series Racing. You go to these divisional races and there's like 20 people there, and you have the coolest classic muscle cars in the world, stock, super stock, comp eliminator running there, and the local drag racing fans, kids who love cars, they're not there, they don't go. We're going to try to, get 10 more people there. We're going to try to do that. Maybe the baby gators, certainly, hopefully. But here it is, end of November, and we have nothing. What will we have in February? That is the question. It's going to be very interesting to see, and I really appreciate everybody who's been supportive to this point. Philadelphia Racing Products. I could go down a long list, and I will, of everybody who has been helpful. Harry Head, Sioux City, Iowa. John Gadosh, everyone who has been helpful. I'm going to become the interviewee who lists off the sponsor stuff. But while we're talking, PowerTube TV, available on Roku, Samsung, Apple, the TV shows like Pastime that you remember, but also WFO Radio. Download the app, check them out. They're going to be at PRI. I'm super excited about that. We're going to do some good stuff together. Big thanks to CWT Industries. Randy Neal, this guy comes on board here in 2024. On WFO Radio, we have limited, we can't just add pages for 50,000 sponsors. We have to have some diehard sponsors. So if you're in the machine shop business and you don't have a CWT Industry balancer, all I would ask you to do is give them a shot. Go to the website, check them out, learn a little bit more about them. And then I have done my job for Randy Neal. They will be at the PRI trade show, and they're always wearing their special uniforms. It's super cool. I'm going to be in the booth as well. We'll release that schedule at a later date. But thank you, Randy, for supporting WFO. And Josh Hart, Jason McCullough on board with Josh Hart. So the past couple of weeks I've been saying, big news coming, big news, personnel moves, not my place to reveal what the big breaking news was. This is it. Jason McCullough. I'm very excited for Jason McCullough, and we can go in depth when Josh comes on the show, and he will. In the meantime, I encourage you to go to Bernie's.com, BURNYZZ.com, Bernie Speed Shop. Over 100,000 square feet. Their social media is amazing, showcasing what they are capable of. So just like their social media, follow along. And the next time you want to sell a classic muscle car, pony car, exotic car, or buy, maybe you want to do a frame off restoration, the full deal, go to Bernie's. And that's how you help out WFO Radio. You heard a little bit about Foggett. This is Gary Stinnet's company. Every household, every auto sport household should have a can of Foggett. It's that simple. Protect from rust your most vital finish, which is not the paint, which is your cylinder finish, because it's much harder to redo that. Foggit, available at summitracingequipment.com. Appreciate those guys as well. Our great friends at HusseyPerformance.net. This is David Allen and the team over there. 724-318-8292. It's all made in America, but it's not just Copperhead gaskets anymore. They're doing it all. And so next time you need gaskets, go to HusseyPerformance.net. We appreciate those guys for coming on second half of the season. Shout out to our great friends in Australia, Torque Calibration Services, and of course, FTI, the Power Glide and Torque Converter for Project Pontiac. What about Paul Lee? First of all, I love the fact that they're bringing on Zern Elke at the end of the year, like a sponsor that we all use, number one, but also career year. It's about like the battles, winning the little battles. When Paul Lee set out in 2024, I'm sure he thought, let's try to win the championship. Let's try to win a race. And in the end, he can say he made a couple of final rounds and he had the best professional year of his career. That's a good year. Congratulations to Paul and the team over there. FTI Performance doing a great job. Super excited to rep them on track. And our great friends at Total Seal and Jesse Converters, of course. But it is the holidays. Marvin Rodak, RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com. The hot sauce, the spice rub. You know, I'm always fired up because I have Rodak's coffee. And I tried to explain it the other day. You know, you could get your friend who loves coffee a bag of coffee at the grocery store. And you can even get one in a fancy wrapper from like the fresh market. But is it really the best of the best from the country of origin that makes it? And you don't know that. But when you order from Marvin, you do, because he gets the best of the best, like first or second choice from some of these places, which is why, you know, he's been doing it for over 30 years. 817-924-6821. Maybe you're a race team who wants a blend of coffee for your race team. You want something totally special. Like I've got the WFO Radio Blend, which is where I suggest you start your journey. Just get a bag of WFO Radio Blend. But he blends coffee special for race teams. He's done stuff for his favorite drivers. Talk to Marvin, 817-924-6821. You're only limited by your own creativity. And of course, our friends at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. I think these things make great gifts. Send someone on the dragster adventure. You don't have to be Antron Brown to love drag racing. You can just be a regular person and start your journey somewhere. The dragster adventure is a great place. FrankHawley.com. Drive a dragster, send someone to drive a dragster, or if you're really slick, you send someone and you go with them. And maybe there's someone you really want to love drag racing as much as you do. And, you know, it's a little manipulative. Merry Christmas, FrankHawley.com. Yes, we're outside of the box with our spots. And if you want to just be basic and support WFO, I love that too. Stuff's on sale right now. WFO Radio hoodies and hats and mugs and shirts and all of the great fire stuff. Look at that. The voice is back. That's how I know the voice is gone, when I can't say fire anymore. It's ruined. Super excited. Michael Scott posts a video of the WFO Radio trailer rehab, thanks to the folks at Wright Trailers. And I am super excited, number one, to have a means with which to transport my vehicle. And number two, like, this guy has done a whole bunch of stuff. And it was one of those like, hey, can you make it work? And he's like, yes, we can. I need to be able to get from Miami to Gainesville and back safely. That's pretty much the orbit that we're going to have from the WFO universe. The downside to living in South Florida is you got to drive 4 hours or 3 hours to the nearest racetrack. Victor's Bradenton is 3 hours and 15 minutes. And Ozzy's Speed World Orlando is about 3 hours and 10 minutes. Sad. We've lost our tracks down here. Gainesville, about towing 5 hours. I'm going to need a competent trailer. So thanks to the folks at Wright Trailers, we're going to be getting that soon. Patreons. The Hear It From Heiner show. You know, I haven't talked to Michael Heiner since Greg Anderson won the championship, but we're going to do a special show, just season recap with Heiner. He doesn't know that yet. Join the Patreons, patreon.com/WFO Radio. If you join up for a year, you get a t-shirt in addition to all the other swag and stuff. Judging by the amount of Patreons we lose, we're doing pretty good. Seems like people, want to hang out with us. I did a Monday motivation today. That's right. It's Monday. We'll be on with Alan Reinhart tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get Reinhardt's take. So much happened at the finals. As far as the breaking news of the week, we'll save that for Reinhart. Get his takes. The awards banquet. So great. So many good things had happened. Greg Anderson spoke with Greg on Friday, guys. If you don't know that, it's in the archive. The archives are loaded. Greg Anderson, 6-time world champion. You can't spell GOAT without GA. And Greg Anderson really made the case for himself as, if not the greatest, certainly one of the greatest. And we talked about Mount Rushmore, Greg Anderson. Antron Brown, just an amazing moment. And there is no better spokesperson for NHRA Drag Racing. All right, let's get your thoughts. As you all know, if you watch on a regular basis, it's all just a stall for you guys to put your poignant, witty comments into the comment section so we can get, move on. Scott, ignition tonight. That's my plan. Giovanni Miami has got the baseball world is really heating up at the Little League level, but I will be there. I don't know if Sue Morris is going to be there. I certainly hope so, but I will come on for ignition tonight, Thanksgiving week. Henry says, hit the like button, people. Yes, folks. Apparently that matters in the YouTube algorithm world. What I love is when you share the show, you go to that share button, you share it on your social media and say, hey, this guy is tolerable. Tolerate this guy so you can enjoy a little NHRA drag racing. Simple as that. The self-deprecating humor. Yes. It was one of the best road to the championship runs ever. Brian Lones and I talked on the red carpet. I don't know if you saw that red carpet interview. They released the whole red carpet. A lot of editing because the music, the mainstream music that was getting played, can't go on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. It's one of the best things that I get to do. And Brian and I had a wonderful conversation about just what we had witnessed and experienced. And I know it's different through the television. And I haven't watched the TV show yet, but I'm sure it was great. And by the way, Tony Pedregon, I love two things can be true at once. I love that Antron is annoyed, but just like me listing all my sponsors for Project Pontiac, there's somebody that I didn't mention because there's only so many ways to make a point. And so, maybe you're mentioning all the great teams. Like, how about I didn't spend a whole lot of time, we'll talk about it tomorrow, how great Doug Coletta and Alan Johnson did, rallying back to finish second, making the final round of the final race. Like, wow, there's always another point, which is why WFO goes through the entire offseason. We're going to try to make all these points at some point. But in the moment, Tony didn't, he didn't make the point that Antron liked it in the way that Antron liked. And so Antron is like, hey, man, Tony Pedregon doesn't care. Tony Pedregon's purpose is to do that. And that's what I don't think a lot of people fully understand, or maybe they understand and it's good. Au genre provocateur. Say things and maybe be challenged. Say things. Like, look at Stephen A. Smith. Look at what these guys are doing. You say things, you have a take, and you get challenged. And maybe sometimes you moderate your take, or maybe sometimes, you don't know. But Tony does his job, and he's a firebrand in many ways. Has drag racing ever had that? No. On the red carpet, it was brought up Steve Torrence may be retiring. What is up with that? I don't know. Amanda said on the top end, intimated that Steve may be retiring. Here's what I choose to do. And I've asked Steve about it, and Steve says he'll be around. So let's let the Torrence family dictate their own future the way they choose. I'd prefer a media announcement because we do a talk show about drag racing. Maybe they will just wait it out until next year and we'll all figure it out by determining who shows up. But I don't know if they know. Because, everybody at this time of year feels like they're ready to retire. You know who else is ready to retire? This guy. I'm ready to retire. 12, 13 years on the road, NHRA drag racing at the end of the deal. Everybody's pretty much ready to retire for about 2 weeks. And then you're like, okay, I'm ready to go back. But it's not easy going down the road. Like flying is one thing, but maybe like Reinhart loves it so much. Like if they tied Reinhart down, he would explode. But traveling is tough. So at the end of a long season didn't go exactly as you wanted it. You might talk of retirement. Angie Smith did. Matt Smith did. Let's get through PRI. Let's get through Christmas and see where everybody is and let them do that. Yeah, there's a lot of stories. Blake Alexander leaving Jim Head's team. There's a lot of stories out there that's called the silly season. We'll see what Reinhart has to say tomorrow. Right? Changes all over the place. We need a silly season website. Dyno Pole, 1,500 horsepower. So that's the kind of thing that gets you banned. If this engine makes 720 horsepower, I'm happy. 1,500. Like, that's not what we're doing, man. We're not doing that. That's Reinhart's fault. That's Reinhart's fault for deliberately trying to raise expectations that we're going to go comp eliminator racing supermod. He knows my budget. Like, why does it have to be better than Super Street? Like, why is it so insulting to the Super Street racers of the world? Why belittle them? That, like, that's all you can do. No, man. It's a tremendous investment of effort to go Super Street racing with the purpose. I don't need to go comp racing. That would be great. But no, I'm real happy to try to do what I'm trying to do. And it's all I can do. And people are, you're crapping on it, Derek Green. You're crap. No, he's not. I'm just messing with him. He's my buddy. but an example of how you can really turn things around on people if you want. Will WFO be on during the winter break? Yes. Some of it. We scale back a little. I like the Stampede of Speed blend, says Derek. He wants to know which favorite is my favorite coffee. Great show as usual. Who won Drag Race Bracket Bonanza? Fun to play. The winner of the WFO Radio Drag Race Bracket Bonanza League will be announced on the Ignition podcast this evening, assuming Bobby Graham is ready to read the results, and we'll announce it tomorrow as well. Ignition is audio only, folks. It's audio only, unless you're a Patreon. Great show, Joe. See you tomorrow. Eddie, a statement was made by Tony P. that crew members from Torrence were moving to Josh Hart's team. We'll see. That's the thing. News gets reported. News gets re-reported. Like, is Billy the full-time team? Like, I know what they're saying, but I'm going to allow the team to make their own announcement on those things. And as it comes out, then it'll come out. For those of you who follow WFO, we're not a breaking news organization. We're not. It's too much. What we are is a confirmation organization. Now, you might listen and read between the lines to see the things that go in a certain direction, but we're not trying to get out in front. It's not us. We're about confirming what we know is fact. Super Street has been slammed enough with no national event races. Yeah, Larry, I know. But I can't really run the national event races because I'm working. I'll be super stoked to run 2 divisionals a year, maybe a third. Holiday party WFO style. People have been asking for me to bring back the holiday party on WFO. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, see, like all the rumors and people are just throwing things out there. Did I read this? Did I read that? I don't know. It'd be cool to see Pritchett in a Capco car. It'd be cool to see Gary Pritchett in any car. Like, there's a perfect example of a tremendous storyline. Gary Pritchett beats Steve. Like, what a nice thing for Gary. Not great for Steve, but I talked to Steve about it. And, being part of the drag racing ecosystem where Travis Shoemake takes this tremendous leap of faith and does something that is crazy, really, and builds his Top Fuel car, and now he gets to chase his dream, and Gary got to do something, and that should tell you a little bit about what the sport is all about. As much as it is a individual sport, and every racer is greedy about winning, you don't have to go very far to see people like helping other people be greedy, if that makes sense. All right, guys, thank you to Antron Brown. Antron Brown, one of our great champions. Thank you, Antron, for the wonderful things you said. Everybody, subscribe, like, click the bell. Do not disconnect from the sport of NHRA drag racing in the next couple of weeks, because news is going to break, things are going to happen, and we'll be speaking with champions. We've already spoken with 2 of them, Greg Anderson and Antron Brown. Bye, guys. WFO.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.